you're sitting here. The reason you're here is obviously you're looking for a job. BT is looking for bright, fresh, new talent to join our company. So let me give you, first of all, a brief overview of the graduate program itself. So it's basically a 2-year rotational program, and you get 4 rotations within those 2 years. So you can rotate into any department within the company. So as long as there's a department there, you can rotate within it. And I think that's something that's quite unique to BT's graduate program, because usually when you have rotations within a company, there are rotations within teams, but they usually fix the department that you go into. But you can go anywhere from, let's say, finance, audit and compliance, to sales, to marketing, and you really have the opportunity to drive your own career. We also have training, so you'll get 20 days of training and induction in the region. You'll also get to travel to the UK twice for training. So we've already been once to the UK for training, and at the end of this month, we're actually going to the UK again for training. In terms of the locations, so we have offices all over Asia Pacific. This year we're recruiting for 4 of them, so we're recruiting in China, India, Hong Kong and Singapore. And typical assignments, we listed a few typical assignments that we've actually done so far, but like I said, wherever there's a department within the company, you have the potential to rotate within that department. So life as a BT graduate, I mean, it's great. There's a huge graduate community around the world. Across the whole of BT, last year they recruited about 200 graduates. Within global services, which is the business-to-business part that Rocky spoke about, there were about 30 globally. And when you go to the UK, you'll get to meet all of the graduates across all of BT and all of the global service graduates. And it's just a very strong community. We keep in touch with them. We have weekly newsletters. So Violet's actually part of the team that creates the weekly newsletters. And it's just a very, very strong community that you're very connected to, which I think is quite unique, because you don't very often get the chance to speak to people on the other side of the world, on a sort of weekly basis. So, I mean, what makes it a great place to be? I spoke about some of the unique features of it, and I think one of the key features as well is that you have a real role and a real responsibility within the company. So when you come into the company, I mean, obviously you haven't had any experience, there's a lot of on-the-job training, but they take you very seriously. They don't think, oh, this person's just out of university, they haven't got a brain. Because, every single person sitting here is very, very intelligent. You're going through, university. You're very adaptable and able to think, in sort of different situations. And so when you enter the role, you'll get some training on the role, but they expect you to actually start working and start producing and create some actual results for the company. And that's the way I think that you learn the best. So Violet and I have completed about 5 months so far. We're almost going to our next rotation. And we've been given real roles and a real chance to actually make some impact in the business. So Violet, for example, has made a very direct impact through her work on the intranet pages, so the internal pages for BT employees, for the sales team. So the entire sales team across Asia Pacific now uses basically the pages that Violet put together on the intranet. So you get a chance to make a real difference within the company. I touched on the training as well, so you get to go to the UK for training, you have training in the region. The second-year graduates actually all came to Hong Kong from Singapore, Australia, India and China. They all came to Hong Kong for training. And you get real mentorship throughout the organization. So everyone from the senior leaders all the way to the second-year graduates really help you develop and help you understand BT as a company and also where you want to take your career. So, I mentioned that the graduate program is quite flexible, so you can choose where you want to drive your career. And, we've had the opportunity to sit down, have coffee with people from different parts of the business, understand what they do, and then from that, say, oh, maybe I want to try a rotation in that department. And then if we're interested after the rotation, potentially turn that into a full-time role. So one of our graduates who couldn't be here today, Jasmine Park, she's actually a South Korean graduate. She graduated from university here in Hong Kong. And I think something that she really took away from the program, which she talked to us a lot about, was the people within the company. We're a telecommunications business, but our CEO, our big boss sitting in the UK, always stresses, yes, it's a telecoms business, but most fundamentally, it's a people business. When you're selling products, when you're selling solutions, you're selling it to people. If you're a salesperson, if you're an account manager, you're interacting with the CIO of HSBC, for example, the Chief Information Officer. So you're you're really having direct interaction with people. And you know, that's the case within the company as well. So it's just, you know, if you enjoy the people that you work with, then it helps you get up in the morning, enjoy your work, and that's something that she really took out of it. You know, she loved coming to work in the morning. It's something that really drove her, I think, within the company. So in terms of the nitty-gritty details, so you know, we're mainly recruiting for Hong Kong. I mean, obviously we're in Hong Kong at the moment, but we included information for all the countries. You know, for those of you that are from mainland China, you might be interested in going back there. We have offices throughout China, but two of our main ones are in Beijing and Shanghai. Last year we recruited one graduate in both Beijing and in Shanghai. So I'll cover Hong Kong first. In terms of what we require, so we're very, very open and very flexible in terms of your backgrounds. So we don't discriminate based on major, we don't say you have to have a telecommunications major or this major or that major. We're very open on that, and you'll find across the graduates we all have very different majors. So I have a business major, Violet has a finance major, one of the other graduates has a politics and economics major, another one has a psychology major. So it's a very broad mix. But we do require that you have, if you're an undergraduate, at least a second upper class honour, and if you're a postgraduate, then second lower. Fluency in English, now we've said here IELTS 6.5 across the board, but we also accept equivalents for that. So TOEFL, for example, I think it's 90, yeah. Or you know, something else that proves your proficiency in English. So in terms of, because we get a lot of questions from people, do I have to have, you know, my IELTS is expired, can I show that, what happens with that? The answer to that is, when you're actually applying online, you don't have to show your IELTS score. But let's say you get through to the assessment centre, you'll have to bring an updated IELTS score. So even if you haven't got it now, you've still got time to enroll in the test to get a new sort of IELTS certificate. And we say the permanent right to work in Hong Kong, the IANG visa is accepted as well. So if you're one of the students who is not a Hong Kong permanent resident, but you've graduated from Baptist U, then you will have an IANG visa and you have the right to work in Hong Kong. Similarly, in China, you'll have to have the permanent right to work in China if you want to go to that office. So what do we look for? Well, in the BT graduates, we really look for a number of what we call the BT capabilities. And that is, you know, you can see them up here, things like drive, passion, enthusiasm, you know, challenging creativity. And we look for those throughout the process. So whether you're doing the online application, whether you're doing the phone interview, whether you're doing the assessment centre, you know, we really look for these capabilities. And we'll show you a link at the end for the website that you can go on. It's also in the booklet. If you go on that, you'll see the BT capabilities and the BT values. And BT really, excuse the pun, values its values very strongly. You know, so try and look at what the BT values are. Look at how your previous experience, you know, your job, your own personality matches up with the values, and think about those when you're actually applying for the role. So, you know, I covered them earlier, our values and capabilities, so do look through these on the website. We really place a very strong emphasis on our values. And it's not just a superficial surface thing, but within the company, and when we're dealing with our customers, these are some things that are very fundamental. If you're not